Hi, this is Carol Harnett with another one-take Work.Love.Play Daily video blog, and I'm going to continue my talk today about rituals. I've become fascinated with the topic, and I thought I had over this weekend was when I was contemplating, actually not contemplating, but I sort of drifted into my head, the difference between habits and rituals. It occurred to me that a habit is something that you can acquire on your own, that you can do on your own, and that you can end on your own. But a ritual is something that's attached to a rite, R-I-T-E, or a social custom, and that means that it's attached to people, and it's attached to your community or your family or some larger group than yourself. So even though sometimes a habit may also be incorporated into a ritual when you're on your own, you can decide to do things like not have, in my case, in my experiment that I've been doing, dairy in the house. But if I go someplace else where people really know and love me and know that some of my favorite desserts are just really ice cream related, or my favorite meal in the world is eggplant parmesan, they would never really support consciously my decision to be dairy free. So as I was thinking about rituals, I started to think about habits that we're trying to get people to give up, or perhaps to take up. But let's start with one to give up, like, for example, smoking. There is a universal agreement, even among smokers, that smoking perhaps is not the best thing for us. So as a habit and as a ritual, it's seen as something that isn't necessarily positively received anymore in a community. So I decided to look up the history of tobacco and just why did tobacco smoking start and what are the rituals attached to it. And believe it or not, I've gone all the way back to prehistoric times. And while there are some minor nicotine substances found in areas other than the Americas, it appears that tobacco and its use really started in the Americas about 6000 BC is the first time that they could find it. And it's really very firmly attached in the Native American culture or the Indian cultures. And they attach legends to those, to the gods, and the gods at first planted corn and potatoes, and then when they rested, the gods planted tobacco. And then there's another tale about a good god coming to earth and falling asleep, and a bad god played a trick on him and set his hair on fire, and as he ran through the woods, the embers that landed were tobacco. And attached to that as well are rituals of the peace pipe or just the medicine pipe, and the pipe being the most sacred thing to people who are Native American or Indian because it is believed to be an attachment to the gods. So that's sort of its history and its origin. So in the Americas in particular, even though smoking is done worldwide, there is a ritual attached to that. And a story that comes to mind is one who people who know me a long time have heard me tell a long time ago, and it's one that I always continue to try to remember. But it's a really good example of the difference between habits and rituals, and how if we just try to get somebody to remove a habit and we don't address the ritual, we're missing something much larger. And the story goes like this. I had a friend who was responsible for helping United Technologies Corporation go smoke-free worldwide. And the airport that I fly out of is Hartford, Springfield, Hartford, or it's Hartford, Springfield, also called Bradley Airport. And across the street from that is a subsidiary of UTC. And I happened to be early for the airport and was driving by and decided to pull over as I see 5 or 6 gentlemen huddled outside the fence on a really snowy January day, and they immediately come over to the car. I stop the car and I'm going to get out, and they think I'm having car trouble, so they're trying to help me. And I said, no, actually, I stopped to talk with you about why are you huddled out here in the cold smoking? Obviously, background story, I knew everything about this. And they said, oh, our company has gone smoke-free, and we used to smoke outside the doors, and they said it was like making people run a smoking gauntlet. And since one of our missions as a company, and these are basically lay people telling me this, one of our missions as a company is to make as green a footprint on the country or the world as possible, it really wasn't the right thing to do. So now we have to smoke off property, and this is the closest place for us to do that. And we had a few other exchanges that I'll spare you the story on, but there was one key comment that was made that really stuck with me. I said to them, did your company do anything to help you consider giving up smoking so that you wouldn't have to stand out here huddled in the cold? And immediately this guy said, oh yeah, they would have done anything. They gave us a year. We could have had smoking cessation patches. We could have had hypnosis. We could have anything we wanted. And I said, well, to this one gentleman seemed really engaged. So I said to him, I was like, well, sir, can you just explain to me like why you decided not to do it? And he said something to me that just really stuck me. He says, ma'am, I'm a former Marine, and as a Marine, we leave no man behind. And if I give up smoking, I give up all of these friends of mine who we walk together 2, 3, 4 times a day out to this very place to smoke and to catch up. And it just has always stuck with me. While we were more than willing to help this gentleman address the habit of smoking, we had no mechanism to address the ritual of smoking. And I think this could really be something key. So once again, my thanks to John Davis for putting this thought in my head and these continuing thoughts in my head. And I'd like to get you to think more about this concept of habits and rituals and how we really can't separate the two. So this is Carol Harnett, with a One Take Work, Love, Play Daily video blog, saying that I hope you've gotten some great work in today, that you're enjoying some lovely love, and that you don't forget to play. Thanks.